Infiltration at the vault. The cold, steel walls of the underground vault hummed ominously, its layers of security nearly impenetrable. The elite coalition infiltration team, led by Zero, crouched just outside the vault's heavily reinforced doors. Their mission was simple: retrieve the data stored in the vault before it was wiped, data that could shift the balance of the war with Delta and the Maliens. Zero motioned for the team to hold their positions. Elena, her eyes fixed on the control panel, worked quickly, hacking into the system. "Almost there," she muttered under her breath. A soft hiss echoed through the narrow corridor, followed by the sharp squeal of metal as the vault's doors slowly creaked open. The team filed in, weapons at the ready. Inside, rows upon rows of encrypted data cores stood in stark contrast to the darkness that enveloped them. "Let's move. We have 5 minutes before security protocols engage," Zero ordered. As they moved deeper into the vault, a sudden movement caught their attention. An unfamiliar figure materialized in the shadows, tall, cloaked, and with a glowing emblem on its chest. The team froze, ready for anything. "Who are you?" Zero demanded, his hand hovering near his blaster. The figure stepped forward, revealing a face both human and alien, eyes glowing faintly with an unnatural light. "I am Lys," the figure said, his voice calm, almost ethereal. "I was sent to stop you." The unexpected ally. The tension in the air was thick, and for a moment it felt as though the room was about to explode with violence. But then Lys raised a hand, signaling for peace. "I'm not here to fight you," Lys continued. "I've been tracking Delta's movements. He's more dangerous than you can imagine, and I need your help to stop him." Zero eyed him suspiciously. "You expect us to trust you just like that?" Lys nodded. "You don't have a choice. The data you're about to retrieve is only part of what's needed to stop Delta. I've been working with Cyrex to uncover a way to stop his rise. You'll need this." Lys reached into his cloak and pulled out a small device, a shimmering orb. "This is the key to unlocking the Genesis protocol. Without it, Delta's ascension is inevitable." Marcus, ever the skeptic, glanced at Zero. "And why should we believe you?" Lys's gaze darkened, and for the first time, there was a flicker of something dangerous in his eyes. "Because I've seen what happens if you don't." Without another word, Lys handed the device to Zero. His fingers brushed the orb, and a wave of cold swept through him. "The data you seek is in a facility beneath Europa," Lys said. "But we must act fast. The clock is ticking, and Delta won't wait." The ticking clock. As the team made their way out of the vault, the tension escalated. Lys's presence had shifted the balance, an uneasy alliance had formed, but trust was a fragile thing. Zero knew that their next move would either save them or doom them. The journey to Europa was perilous, but the real threat was already waiting. Delta's forces had anticipated their every move, and it wasn't long before a wave of enemy ships descended upon the team. "We're running out of time," Elena shouted, her fingers flying over the ship's controls as they maneuvered through the asteroid field. Marcus gritted his teeth. "We're not leaving without that data." The ship rocked violently as a blast from a Malien warship struck their shields. The lights flickered, and the team was thrown off balance. Lys stood at the rear of the ship, eyes closed, his hand raised in concentration. "We're not alone," he murmured. His voice was calm but laced with urgency. Before anyone could respond, a massive surge of energy rippled through the ship. The enemies were closing in, but Lys had tapped into something deeper, something dangerous. Battle at Europa's gates. Europa loomed large in the distance, its icy surface reflecting the stars above. The coalition ship descended rapidly, dodging fire from the pursuing Malien warships. Zero was at the helm, his eyes fixed on the landing coordinates. "Brace for impact," he ordered. With a jarring thud, the ship touched down on Europa's surface, skidding across the ice. The team quickly disembarked, weapons raised, and rushed toward the hidden entrance to the facility. As they neared the facility's threshold, the ground trembled beneath them. The doors to the facility slid open with a low mechanical hum, revealing a dark corridor lined with encrypted data terminals. This was the heart of their mission, the place where the fate of the galaxy would be decided. But they weren't alone. Lurking in the shadows were Delta's most fearsome creations, the Malien prime forms, massive humanoid beings, more powerful than anything the team had encountered before. "We'll have to fight our way in," Zero said, drawing his blaster. Lys stepped forward, his eyes glowing brighter than ever. "I'll handle this." Before anyone could react, Lys raised his hands and a wave of telekinetic energy swept across the room. The prime forms were hurled back, slamming into the walls with bone-crushing force. But the battle was far from over. The final push. The team pushed deeper into the facility, the walls of the dark metallic structure closing in around them. Every step brought them closer to their goal, but also to the truth behind Delta's rise. As they reached the central chamber, they were met with a devastating sight: rows of stasis pods, each containing a Malien hybrid. Their eyes flickered with the same crimson glow as Delta. "This is it," Marcus whispered, his voice tense. "This is where it all began." Zero's voice was sharp. "And this is where it ends." Suddenly, a voice echoed through the chamber, cold, calculating. "You've come far, but it's too late." Delta stepped from the shadows, his tall form looming in the doorway. His eyes burned with a bright, unholy red. "Welcome to the future," he said, his voice like the sound of 1,000 whispers. "You're too late to stop me.